so-called leaders prostituted us to the West, destroyed our culture, our economies, our honor.
Everyone, hang on!
Right. What the hell kind of name is Soap?
Что здесь происходит? Танцы?
Welcome to the new Russia, Captain Price.
You're with us.
50,000 people used to live in the city. Now it's a ghost town.
(2007), a year which would be iconic for the Call of Duty series, because this particular Call of Duty paved the way for future releases, and for its time shocked the world not just by the gameplay, but the darkness of the game itself. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Prior to its release, the theme and setting for Call of Duty had always been based on World War II. Although it was very successful, especially for COD 1 and 2, by Call of Duty 3, Activision knew that this current setting was becoming stale. In steps Infinity Ward with possibly the best idea for the title. Let's take the setting as present day, Modern Warfare. The impact this game had on not just Call of Duty, but for the rest of gaming was huge. But the way they'd done it was a shock to everyone. In this video, I will break down in points on why COD 4 was so dark and how it really was the turning point for Call of Duty as a whole. Number 1. New level of horror. When initially starting the campaign, it follows the same map and process as it has for previous Call of Duties, where it starts off as you in a training camp. It makes sense, but after you complete your training and perform your first mission with the SAS, you all of a sudden see this. A man in a tracksuit with an Uzi, soldiers running everywhere, firing their guns in the air, civilians running away. Against the wall, hiding. What on earth is going on? But then we realise what's happening. We witnessed the execution of you, the President, live on television for the entire world to see. And that's what I mean by paving the way. Most of the Call of Duty games following its release turned up the heat in either the first mission or the beginning of the campaign, every single time.
I need help over here!
But COD 4 was the one which really began this step up in controversy and hard-hitting scenes. A few missions later, our helicopter is shot down, and whilst trying to navigate our way out, we even see the Russian troops confront an elderly man and ultimately shoot him.
Что здесь происходит? Что тебе надо?
Не надо прикидываться дурачком.
Alright,
Британские
let's top these
солдаты.
bastards before they kill the old man.
Британцы?
Прекрасно тратите им.
Which is insane because for most first-person shooter games, civilians caught up in battle were often featured but not harmed. This was not the case, and for a brief second you're left a bit stunned that you've just witnessed this. Another example is in the mission Shock and Awe, where you think this is a normal US Marine Corps mission. You are instructed to support the ground troops and then the pilot of a downed chopper. Sounds normal, right? Wrong. Just when you think you've completed your mission and returning to base, something unexpected happens.
All U.S. forces be advised. We have a confirmed nuclear threat in the city. S teams are on site and attempting to disarm. I repeat. Everyone hang on!
Arguably one of the most iconic moments in a Call of Duty campaign, because this was the first time ever we see a nuke launched in battle. And you have to remember, this was back in 2007. There was real life conflict in the Middle East, so to think this couldn't happen was silly, because it very much could happen at any point. Even now, this sort of thing happening today is not unrealistic. It's just crazy for me to replay these missions as an adult compared to when I was just a young boy playing the game, without really thinking about the possibility of this stuff actually happening. Could you imagine the aftermath of a nuclear blast? Crawling out of the chopper, barely alive, seeing the death and destruction everywhere, with the last thing you see before you die is a great big mushroom cloud in the distance. Scary. The new level of horror wasn't only just visual, it was also audible. For those of you who watched my Darkness of Modern Warfare 2 video, you'll remember the part where I played the cut audio for the Washington Monument evacuation. But what if I told you that's not really where the true darkness and horror started for Call of Duty? If you begin the mission Safe House, right at the very start, you'll hear very faint screams of the villagers being caught up in the massacre from the Russian ultra-nationalists.
What the hell's going on up there?
It's the ultra-nationalists. They're killing the villagers.
Yeah, well, not for long, they're not.
You can hear a slight scream or two, but you can't really hear it in full detail. So I went into the game audio files and searched for the background noise, and the actual recording is terrifying. Take a listen.
Петя, убейте гада! Дверь, второй этаж! Володь, на третьем этаже! Окно, третий этаж! Нет, ты говоришь, нет! Один мертвый нет! Дверной проем, второй этаж!
There's probably a good reason the developers made this faint, because they may have thought this would have been too dark, which is saying something. The other clip which sticks out is from the famous mission All Gillied Up. Have you ever noticed that just before you successfully reach your sniping position in the hotel, as you walk through the building beforehand, you can hear distant noises of children briefly play, and it's just creepy.
Move up. Look at this place. 50,000 people used to live in the city. Now it's a ghost town. Never seen anything like it.
Again, like the Villagers audio clip, I located this in the files, and hearing it without everything else just leaves me with such an eerie feeling. It just makes you think of the past of Chernobyl and what happened during the malfunction. It's such a good way of making you think. Number 2, grittiness and realism. This was the first COD game to really put emphasis on the realism, which made the entire game feel like you were part of this operation. Even when loading up the main menu, you can see the iconic art on the screen. This art was actually based off a real-life picture of a soldier fighting in Fallujah 2004. Which is cool, but also at the same time, in a strange way, kind of spooky. But actually in the missions you can sense the upgrade in realism and atmosphere from previous Call of Duty games.
Clear left. Clear right. Hallway, clear. Move up.
In the mission Blackout, you instantly get the feeling of what a covert operation feels like. It's quiet, it's not loud, not flashy. You have the modified attachments on your gun. It's tense. It's in a way made you focused on what you're doing because you don't want to make too much noise. It was such a brilliant way of introducing a new type of gameplay experience to COD. Even meeting the Russian allies.
Guys, you smell that?
Yeah, Kamarov.
Welcome to the new Russia, Captain Price.
What's the target, Kamarov? We've got an informant to recover.
It gives you that feeling that this is a deep level assignment. This was the first Call of Duty game to include the use of night vision goggles, which added to the gritty atmosphere, and you sense the panicking soldiers giving it that real life aspect.
Alright, I've cut the power. Go.
Виктор! Электричество погасло! Ты здесь? Саша, где тебя?
This relates back to the very first mission where you complete training. There is a sense of seriousness in the training and it makes you lock in immediately. Not only was this based off a real life location and base in England, but we had useful information which would stay with us throughout the years.
Remember, switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading.
But we also have the mock-up training area where we carry out a CQB test, where it times you. And I remember vividly wanting to better my record as much as possible each time. And that's what I mean by saying this Call of Duty in particular made it feel like it was much closer to home, and not just a heroic, standard first-person shooter. Even after you finish your training and are heading towards the cargo ship to get the intel, everything is calculated. The radio calls,
Weapons free.
the call-outs,
Fan out. 3 meter spread.
suppressed weapons.
Target neutralized.
Everything feels tactical, apart from when it goes wrong.
This is Bravo 6, we're on our way out! On your feet, soldier! We are leaving!
But we see the same in the other battles with the US Marine Corps, but not as stealthy.
Breaching!
The tactical nature of it is still there, but this is a full-blown war. Although everything is chaotic, we still see the real-life effects happening during these missions. For example, we see us getting ambushed,
Clear! Keep moving! Contact! Enemy contact!
Get to the place and fire on that building. We have to move forward.
close combat in broken buildings, holding the line,
Jackson! Get your ass on the line now!
using makeshift cover, the TVs with Al-Assad's speech playing on a loop. Infinity Ward done such an amazing job making this transition feel so real that it fully immersed you. Which brings me on to my next point. Number 3. Death from above. For the first time in COD history, we are in charge of protecting Captain Price and his squad from the air. We see ourselves in an AC-130.
An AC-130, eh? Haven't worked on one of those in a while.
When I talk about realism in this game, this is a huge key factor in this point because it genuinely feels like you are in an AC-130. It's a strange vibe because up in the sky, everything is calm There is no shouting, just instructions and the camera watching the scene below. There are so many cool details in this mission. We are unable to fire until we get the green light from the operator. Repeated instructions on not firing on the church, where it is making you conscious about what you are hitting.
You are not authorized to level the church. Do not fire directly on the church.
The troops on the ground stealing a civilian vehicle.
Wolf, we're going to commandeer civilian transport on the main highway. Cover us.
But that guy's pissed. It's a nice truck.
The AC-130 crew trying to navigate where things are.
Navigation, which one's the curved road? Over.
Fire control. Do you see the water tower? Over.
TV, confirm you see the water tower.
It adds that element of an authentic atmosphere where everyone's cracking jokes.
Whoa! Yeah, direct hits right there. Yeah, good kill. I see lots of little pieces down there.
It's such a new experience, but it's a haunting one when you think that you are raining total destruction below, whilst you're pretty much safe as sound in the skies. Number 4. New level of stealth. It was in this game where we all truly witnessed one of the best missions out of the entire series. All gillied up. An iconic mission where it allowed Infinity Ward to create a whole new level of stealth in a mission. Ghillie suits on, weapons camouflaged up, and in the outskirts of Chernobyl where there is radiation around you.
Are you daft? Stay out of the radioactive areas.
It was such a different location for a mission, but brilliant. Because not only are we actively trying to sneak past enemies and take troops out,
Tango down.
we're trying not to get caught, and this mission grabs all of your attention all the way through. But what really makes this mission is the constant suspense and concentration. We had the convoy situation, which made you sweat buckets.
If you have to maneuver, do it slow and steady. No quick movements.
Seeing the ultra-nationalists dump their evidence.
Looks like they've already eliminated the men they couldn't buy out.
Finding cover under trucks. Seeing wild dogs eat troops. The whole ambience of this mission is intriguing because, although we've gone back in time, we still get to see the Soviet-style buildings, greyness, the dull surroundings. But at the same time, we're remembering that this was an actual place. Going through the empty buildings and streets, there's just a weird feeling you have whilst going through it. We are in a ghost town. Number 5. Colour grading. Despite this game being set in a modern warfare environment, you'll notice that the tone of the game is actually quite subdued. The colours chosen for the in-game design have a serious tone. There's a certain feeling you get whilst playing. Of course, the colour palette changes based on the area. For example, you'll see the missions in Russia have more darkness, more dullness, less life in the colours and more coldness. And that's the vibe you get from it. Cold and frosty. Whereas in the Middle East and the US Marine Corps campaign, although there is more colour because of the different environment, it still has a sombre tone. If we compare it to the second chapter in the Modern Warfare series, you can see the vast difference between COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 in terms of its colour scheme. Number 6. Silence. In most COD games, or any games in general, if you load up multiplayer, go into a private lobby by yourself and explore the map, you'll realise one thing: it's quiet. But occasionally you'll hear some audio in the background which comes up every so often. It's a weird mixture of nostalgia, creepiness, and loneliness. When the lobbies were full, we probably wouldn't have noticed the sounds. The distant gunfire, the faint wind whistling past, it just emphasises how alone you really are in these maps. This was the same in the campaign, where you would get a feel of the ambience and how quiet it was for the most part. This, mixed with the colour grading, made the game so gritty and eerie that only a few Call of Duty games have been able to replicate this in their releases. Number 7. The ending. COD 4 made you develop a connection with all the characters involved, but when looking back, all of the characters you met along the way have all gone when you get to the final mission. We lost Vasquez in a nuke earlier in the game, but we lose Griggs. We lose Gaz. And we think we lose Price.
Мы должны доставить его в госпиталь немедленно!
Now that we know Price survives in Modern Warfare 2, you couldn't help but think at the time, did we really just lose a legendary character already in Captain Price? The point I'm trying to make is this game really painted the picture that there were no winners in conflict, because although it was a heroic last stand to shoot Zakhaev, ultimately we pretty much lose everyone along the way. And the amazing thing was, I hadn't realised this at the time. It's only when we look back on this where we can actually process this. All in all, this game was pivotal for the series. One of my favourite Call of Duty games, not just for the memories made online and for the next level of creativity that went into the game, especially the introduction of creating classes, weapon camos and attachments, but it was the entire game itself. It left such a special mark on me that all these years later, I still find myself returning to it and truly appreciating how ahead of its time this game truly was. A COD game which wasn't afraid to take risks, expand their horizons and ultimately become one of the best Call of Duty games ever. What things stood out to you in Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare? Let me know in the comments, as I would love to read them. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the darkness of Modern Warfare 2 to see how Infinity Ward took a step further in pushing the boundaries, as well as the creepiness of World at War and the horror of Black Ops. Feel free to click the screen now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and a comment, and to be kept up to date with future videos, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching. Cheerio.